Hello, everybody, and welcome to Plant Tarot. If you're new here, welcome. If you've watched my show before, welcome back. This is my first live stream, so forgive any clumsiness. I just wanted to do a timeless reading to see what's coming up next. We're going to be shifting from Taurus into Gemini. And whenever you're watching this, whether it's Taurus season, Gemini season, or whatever season, it's the right season for you to watch. So, what's coming up next? We got the seashell, and in this case, it's a clamshell. There's a message of waves rolling in and waves rolling out. And as things change and things come up, it's asking you to go into the waves that you're feeling emotionally, maybe physically, and to allow the movement to happen. Any pushing against the current will only bring you down in that current. And I'm getting this feeling of tide pools and shifting and swirling. And if it feels really swirly and like, oh man, calm down by taking some deep breaths, going into your body and really feeling the emotions so that they can be processed through. There's a lot of body work involved in this, going into how you're physically feeling when these feelings, emotions come up. Clamshell, I'm getting also happy as a clam. And there's a lot of ways that can be taken. Are clams really happy? They always look like they're smiling. And when was the last time you smiled? Maybe smile at yourself. Start the day off with a smile. Start the day off with something that makes you smile. If things feel like they're coming up as heavy, because Taurus can feel heavy, and moving into Gemini can bring a lightness to it, or whatever season we're moving into. When we shift from one element into another, there's an energy shift in that way. And there can be a push and pull with it. The pushing of the tide and the pull in. Allow yourself to move with the flow, ebb and flow. There could be a back and forth, and there can be I'm feeling a lot of energy coming up here, a lot of emotional, physical, a lot of change energy. And change is constant, just like the constant movement of the waves. Change is constant. Rather than pushing against that change, release and let that change happen. And you, in turn, can flow more steadily and easily with that change when you drop the sense of pushing against it. Allow change to happen and allow yourself to be open to change. Just like a clamshell opens up, allow yourself to open up. All right. What do the animals have to say? What do the animals have to say? We have raccoon reversed. Raccoons have a both and sort of character. They can be both sneaky and they can also be transparent. Raccoons may look like they're wearing a mask, but their character is very what it is. They don't hide anything that they do. When they go through someone's trash, they're very clear about going through someone's trash. They're not going to wait until that person leaves before they start doing it. They're just going to do it because they want what's in there. So while they may look sneaky, they aren't necessarily sneaky. And I'm also getting a feeling of dropping the mask. If you feel like you are wearing a mask, then maybe that's the change that's coming in, is changing from wearing a mask to not wearing one. There's a feeling of authenticity here. Speaking authentically, relating authentically, and shifting into a presence of authenticity. Maybe this is what is being pushed. Maybe this is what's being like blocked or resisted, because reversals give a feeling of resistance. If there is a feeling of resisting this change, of taking the mask off, allow yourself to drop the mask. Allow yourself to breathe and to just sit with the feelings that come up when the idea of dropping the mask comes up. What feelings are you feeling when asking yourself that? When asking yourself, what happens if this comes down? What happens when the walls come down? And how do I feel about that? Give yourself that moment to really process that, because that can feel big. It can feel big, like the movement of the ocean tides. I mean, the ocean is huge, and it has a way of making people feel very small when they stand in that presence of the waves of the ocean, just looking out into the vastness. There is an existentialism to it. That in turn brings in that shift. Feeling that existential moment, asking yourself those kinds of questions, really allow that openness to happen, because it allows the perspective to shift into a larger area. It shifts that perspective into a more long-term, bigger picture sense. And going back to that feeling of little tide pools, maybe those are the little minute details that are swirling around. Going into those little tide pools can shift that perspective into the minutia, and the change can be a lot bigger than the nitty-gritty details. It's good to be in the here and now. Balance that with the bigger scale of what the here and now is creating. What is the long-term end picture that you can shift your focus into creating in that bigger sense? And be transparent about it. Raccoon is very transparent. There's also that nocturnal feeling that comes with raccoon. Maybe sleep can be a factor. Is there anything disturbing your sleep? What's coming up in dreams? What visions are you seeing before you go into sleep? And then what comes up as you wake up? The closing of each day, going to bed, that ritual of going to bed and calming yourself down into that sleep state. You're letting go of that day. And then as you sleep, you enter your dream world. And all of that, everything that that encompasses, comes up, and it shifts and it changes the energy so that we are open with new energies and new ideas when the sun comes up. When we wake up the next morning, that initiates a new beginning, and every day is a new ending, and every morning is a new beginning. Allow yourself to move with that energy as well. When we shift into the energy of every day, we allow ourselves to shift into a new energy of what it is to be in that day and what it would feel like to release that day. Take a breath, because I'm feeling a lot of holding the breath. Breathe, do some breath work. Allow yourself to sit in that moment just with your breath. And sitting with the breath, knowing that the breath is a gift, and each day brings new breath, and every breath that comes up is new life. This is a feeling of gratitude for the ability to breathe, the ability to sit for even just a moment and to gather the self. Just keep breathing. All right. I'm going to bring a message of empowerment with this. Message of empowerment. Okay. You can handle this. There is a wise saying, you are never given more than you can handle. Tune into your heart to reconnect with your strength. Seems very connected with that feeling of holding the breath, resisting that change, dropping the mask. You can handle it. Believe in yourself, because you got this. This is your story. This is your life. And this is your moment to take that next step. We are not given more than we can handle. Trust in that. You are protected in that. And you are then free to move from that. Let that be your foundation. If you feel like there is no other foundation, have that one foundation of, I can handle this. Allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to be you, because the world needs you. That's why you're here. You are here for a reason, and you can handle being here because you are here. Allow yourself to trust that. What do the plants have to say? What's coming next? One more. Underneath, we have Star, Seven of Wands, Six of Pentacles, Four of Swords, King of Cups. The star is a healing energy. When the sky is so dark that all the light is just stars, it brings a different reflection. This is Weeping Willow. The message of Weeping Willow is every day is a new day, and every night brings a new reflection. Sitting in meditation, allowing yourself to move through the day, experience what you're experiencing, learning what you're learning, and then each night going within and seeing the reflection that that day brought. Every day the water shifts, and in a river or even in a pond, water moves and it changes. And we don't look at water the same twice because the water is changing constantly. Weeping willow allows its tendrils to fall gently in the water as it moves its tendrils. It is the bridge between feeling and being. It is the bridge between water and earth. It allows its root systems to be both in water and in land, being in the body, being in the feelings, being out of the head. Allow yourself to meditate in this. Allow yourself to be the star that you are, and allow each reflection to show you new things so that the next day you can be new. Because every day you are a new person. We are made of water and earth. And allowing ourselves to be that constant movement of water shifts our bodies into a new frame of being. And our minds are just an organ, they are earth too. Allow the mind to quiet down by taking breaths, by moving that energy through and around you. Letting go of the thoughts of what if, what next, even though this is titled What Next. It's not really about what's next, it's about what's now. What is here? Because what's here is what creates what's next. Be here now. Reflect on what is going on now, because that will change what's coming up next. Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands, Akatio. Akatio has a sensitive core, and when triggers come up, the core can feel triggered and defenses can come up, and that's that wall, feeling that wall of, resisting the change. This could be that trigger that is bringing up the, I don't really want change because what if it's not what I want it to be? Sometimes that can be the best gift of all. Allowing change to happen and then being in that beginner's frame of mind, shifting that perspective to drop the defenses, dropping that mask, allowing the self to be vulnerable allows for more profound changes to happen, both internally and externally, because the external is just a reflection of the internal. This one is asking you to drop the defenses, to allow yourself to express the true joy in your life, a true smile. That can be a gift to the world. Authentic smiling, authentic being, and authentic expression. That is vulnerability. And that can be just as much a gift to yourself as it is for others around you, because then people feel safe around you. And people can feel safe with themselves by just being around you. And this is what attracts others to you. There's a lot of sitting with it energy. Six of Pentacles. This is a balance like a feng shui. Looking to the home, spiraling into the self, because our body is ultimately our first home. Going back into that feng shui energy, no matter what, money tree, whether it has a lot of light or a little light or a huge container or a little container, it will still grow. It can still grow. It's just the nurturance of it. The more it's nurtured, the more it grows. The more you're nurtured, the more you grow. How are you nurturing yourself? Because that's a choice. How much do you nurture yourself? self-care can be a great practice for you right now, especially in this feeling of healing something and reflecting and learning, because we're always learning. Learn new self-care techniques. Learn body care techniques, mind care techniques, any new techniques that you feel like you need at this time, even if it's just some breath work. Feng shui internally, it'll feng shui the external. Definitely that meditation, Four of Swords. This can be calming the mind. This is sacred geometry in a flower. Dahlia is a flower of reflection and meditation. It comes in different colors, which brings up different feelings. It also can reflect the chakra that is needed to be worked with at the time. Allow yourself to study sacred geometry. Even looking at a flower is a meditation. It can be very simple. And swords as an archetype are very simplistic in nature. Even the ones that come up like Eight of Swords or Nine of Swords, it still comes back to a simplicity of, do I look at it? Do I not look at it? Do I create an anxiety thought process about it? Or do I breathe and let the anxiety go? Getting some throat chakra stuff coming up with that too. Maybe speaking to yourself or to others. This can also help releasing that energy, releasing it through talking it out. Journaling is talking, writing is communication. If the voice feels blocked in that way, maybe writing it out so that you can reflect on what you've written can be a medicine in itself. Because when you're writing yourself a message in turn, especially with free writing or with channeled writing. This could be a time to keep a journal as well, maybe a dream journal. When the thoughts come up, write them out, speak them out, move that energy, because that is energy movement, and meditate on it. Give yourself a couple extra minutes before just saying something. Because once we say something, we can't unsay it. When the mask comes down, we can't just put it back on again, because then we've already seen ourselves without the mask. There's no going back. It's just moving forward. And maybe that could be that whole premise of what the next step is. The next step is forward. It's not backwards. No matter what, you can handle that. King of Cups, a masculine and a feminine element, and this is a deep water energy. Coral is the foundation in the ocean. It is a bedrock and a nurturing home for a multitude of sea creatures. It comes up in almost every color, and it is strong and stable as well as it is nurturing. It is both and. Not everything is black or white. And if there's that feeling of this or this, where's the in between? Find the in between. And if you can't find it, then come back to the self and allow that happy medium to come to you. Because manifestation is not about finding. It's not about ruminating on one thing or limerence about another thing. It's about coming to the self, reflecting on the self, and being here in this moment with the feelings in the body, and then allowing that next step to unfold. Just like dahlias unfold. That's what you're doing. We are a reflection of plants. Plants came here first. We came after them. And they will always be here, even after we aren't. There's beauty in that. Earth is our home. Our bodies are earth, and we are home in our bodies. Coral is home in its body, and it's a home to others because it knows the foundation that it is. You are the foundation. Start from there. Take that next step from that, from just being here, because you are here for a reason. And let that be your mantra. You are here for a reason. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. It's that simple. Things do not need to be complicated. The mind has that habit of complicating things the more it thinks about it. And if that's coming up, quiet the mind by breathing. It always comes back to the breath. So that's all the subconscious underneath the undercurrent energy. This is what's up right now in front of you. We got Tower, Justice, now 10 of Cups. Tower is rooted by 3 of Cups. Justice is rooted by 3 of Wands. 10 of Cups is rooted by Lovers. That's beautiful. Tower. Let the mask fall. The gift is in the fall. Pine knows the heights that it has reached. It knows that it created a root system, and it knows that it created pine cones. It has made seeds for the future. And when pine stresses about the heights that it has created, when it stresses about what's next, the change that's happening, a stressed out tree invites pathogens and pests. The more stressed out it gets, the more sick it gets. And these pathogens and pests end up attacking the root system. And a tree with weak roots will fall. The gift of pine is that it has a timber that creates a resource for others. It creates a shelter for the animals that live in it. It creates pine cones to reforest areas. And when it falls, it creates space for the pine cones to grow and to plant new seeds for a new generation. That is a gift. Yes, there was a lot of effort that went into building that tower. What are the seeds that were created by it? What are the lessons that come from that tower? And what seeds are being planted in its place? This is a chance for you to have a new foundation. This is a chance for a new day to dawn, a new beginning. Tower is a gift. Allow it to be a gift. Rather than going into the head, which can create a lot of fear stories, be in the body and experience the trust fall. Experience that mask coming down, and then take that fresh breath of being real. Allow yourself to be real. This tree was real, and all the trees that come after it are equally as real. You have the seeds and you've planted them. Allow yourself to gather the lessons, create the space, and start fresh. This is rooted by 3 of Cups. Holly, it can also signify, holly can signify the joy of a celebration. And the energy of 3 is creation. 3 is the minimum number of sides of a geometric shape. It takes 2 to make another. Allow yourself to be creative. Feel that creative energy, because cups is water. Feel that creative energy flow through you, because our veins flow creative energy through us every day. And every day that changes. Allow yourself to change your feelings. There's no more blocking feelings. The more the energy of Earth changes, and the more the energetic field changes, the harder it is to hide, the harder it is to wear a mask. People are becoming a lot more intuitive. More people are waking up. And as they keep waking up, they're waking up to what's real. That is what the waking up is. It's waking up to the reality of things. And once we've woken up to the reality, it's really hard to go back into the fakeness. Create a new reality that is real and keep it simple. 3 is a simple number. It just took 2 to make another. If there feels like there's that other, and that other is not exactly what you're wanting, ask yourself some hard questions. Why don't you want it there? Why is it unwelcome? And what can be done to shift that energy? If there's a feeling that is not really wanted, what can you do to transmute that feeling? What can you do to move that feeling through you and out of you? Give yourself that space and give yourself the opportunity to be happy, to celebrate something. This is rooting the tower. Maybe that tower falling is something to celebrate. Maybe that old foundation crumbled for a reason and there's new space, and that can be celebrated. Celebrate the new space. Celebrate the new things that are sprouting up. Celebrate yourself for accomplishing something, for changing the mindset, for being able to handle that change. That's enough to celebrate, and that's worth celebrating. You are worth celebrating. Justice. Going back to the foundation. People think of Ivy as in like Ivy League schools and old buildings, ancient buildings. The thing about ivy is that it grows on any building that it can grow on. And while there's a thick, tangled mass of leaves and branches and vine, ivy grows on whatever foundation is strong enough to hold it up. It can be a new foundation, it can be an old foundation. And sometimes old foundations crumble and then it can't hold the ivy up anymore. New foundations can be very strong and it can easily hold the ivy up because ivy is actually a very heavy vine when it is allowed to accumulate. The point is the foundation. Ivy is as old as the foundation it grows upon. And there's Libra in this. There's balancing, seeing it for what it is, seeing the foundation for what it is, the truth of the matter, going into the heart of it. And I'm getting this story of Mott with her feather, weighing the heart against the feather and balancing the heart with the feather. A true heart will not outweigh Mot's feather. Going back to a true heart. This could be heart healing. This could be telling yourself the truth so that you can find balance in your heart. Forgiving yourself, forgiving others. That is justice. It allows that foundation to be stronger. And forgiveness does not always mean forgetting it. It doesn't mean you have to invite that person back into your life. It just means allowing yourself to have a lighter heart, allowing yourself to unhook from that energy. The less hooks you have in your heart, the more clear it is. And there is a clarity with Libra. It is cardinal air. It's moving forward. There is cardinal energy here. Allowing the wind to shift, allowing the voice to shift, and allowing the thoughts to shift. That in turn will create that stable foundation, even if it's new. It'll create that stable foundation for the ivy to grow upon. You are the foundation, and you can handle the weight. Three of Wands. Snapdragon has an energy of 1, looking back, and 2, looking forward. Right now creates the future. We learn from our past. We move through that energy that came up from the past. We allow ourselves to transmute that energy right now. And then we carry the wisdom forward, and that creates the future. There can be an energy of looking back and then looking forward and then looking back and then looking forward. Right now is what creates it. What are you going to do about this moment? The past is the past. What have you gathered from it? Moving into the future, what would you like to express? What would you like to create? And this is a lot of creative energy because we have 2 3s next to each other. The 3 of feeling, the cups. The 3 of expression, the wands. Water and fire together make steam. Water with too much fire boils over. Fire with too much water gets drenched and washes out. Balance these 2 elements. They are very opposite. Balancing them creates steam and heat. A warm bath, a hot bath, something that opens the pores. These 2 opposing elements can actually be a good thing when they are balanced, when they are both expressed and looked at and moved through. Feelings can initiate creativity. That is a form of transmuting energy by being creative with that energy. Dancing, singing, art, writing, going into nature, meditation. Those are all creative activities that allow us to move our feelings into an expression. So what's being expressed right now? Snapdragons have a very otherworldly look. They have a very otherworldly presence. And that can bring up a lot of things. But in the end, they express themselves authentically. They express themselves the way they wish to express themselves. They come in all different colors, sometimes in multicolor, and they look like wands the way that they grow. It's a tower of flowers, and It brings in a dragon's energy because dragon is very authentic. There's no mistaking a dragon. And dragons are intuitive. They are of the past and of the future because they live in the realm of belief. Believe. Believe in yourself. Dragons may not be physically here, but they are here. They exist because we allow them to exist in our hearts. Allow yourself to exist in your heart. Believe in yourself. Ten of Cups, daisies. Recently, I moved across the country to a completely opposite energy of where I came from. I lived in the desert for over a decade. And in the desert, there are daisies. When I moved here, I saw daisies everywhere. And it really showed me that no matter what, as long as I see it and believe it, there are daisies in the desert and in the land of water. This is a choice to see things like this and smile in that seeing it, smile in that knowledge that everything will work out because we're not given more than we can handle. Things can come up daisies for you. Things can come up daisies if you choose it to. 10 of Cups is like a wish granted. It can be a joy, a completion in a joyful way, because 10 is the beginning and ending all at once. Give yourself that mantra. No matter what, everything can come up daisies. It's whether or not you allow it to or not. When I moved, I did have thoughts in my head of things will work out this way. And they did not work out the way I had in my head. But I'm finding that there is a space for new things to come up. There is space to be joyful in the newness of where I am. This is a fresh new cycle. And I have a feeling that a lot of you watching this are entering a fresh new cycle. And what's being asked next, the next step, is to allow new things to come up by allowing the brain to calm down with those expectations. Just stopping to realize that that change that happened is a new thing, and a beginner's mindset is a gift. It is a shift in perspective. And things may not always happen the way we expect them to, but maybe that's the best part. Maybe that's the best thing that could happen. Allow yourself to be in that energy because it can invite so much more to come in than you even thought or expected. Allow yourself to be in that energy. That is a choice. Lovers. Gemini season. Chocolate is a medicine. It's all about how it's roasted. When it's roasted at a lower temperature for a slightly longer time, it becomes cacao. And cacao is a heart opener. When it's roasted in a higher temperature, it becomes chocolate, like milk chocolate. Cacao can be bitter and dark, but it has all of the medicinal qualities that come from the tree. Refined processed chocolate is light and sweet, but it loses some of that potency of the medicine that is in that tree because it was cooked out of it. And that message of over refining something to make it lighter and sweet, it takes the medicine out. And while it still does offer a medicine of some kind of peace and some kind of heart opening, because that in turn is chocolate's gift to the world, is opening the heart. It just is a choice of potency. Do you go for the bitter dark chocolate to receive that potent medicine of heart opening? Or do you take it to a lighter, more refined space and experience the medicine in a smaller way? And sometimes it can be a gift too, of allowing yourself that smaller bit of medicine to come through so it's not so overwhelming. The message of chocolate is, how do I love myself in the midst of loving others? How do I show myself care? And it lives in a water energy. It lives in the jungle. It is very in tune with earth and water at the same time. It offers its medicine of opening the heart to oneself. It's anchoring and rooting, 10 of Cups. Allowing that new perspective of things working out for my highest and best, for your highest and best, even if it doesn't look like anything that we had in our minds or anything that we expected. It still works out in the end. Choose to see it that way. That is self-care. Changing your mindset is an act of self-care. Dropping the mask is self-care. Dropping the expectations is self-care. It is that simple. If the mind wants to complicate it, just keep breathing. As long as you have breath, keep breathing. Keep looking at things with a new way of looking at it, because this is a brand new energy. This is a brand new cycle. Go into a beginner's mindset and take it one step at a time. That is the next step, because it's only one step. The next step. Very potent energy. I feel like there's one more that wants to come out. What's one more that wants to come out? Ace of Pentacles. Doing this work creates abundance. There is potential. One strawberry is a seed carrier for hundreds of other strawberries. Even in its plant form, before the strawberries come up, you get the main plant, and then it sends a little offshoot, and then that offshoot roots. And when it roots, it creates another offshoot, and that's how the strawberry plant spreads. It spreads by jumping and rooting and jumping and rooting and jumping and rooting, and then soon enough you get this mass of a strawberry plant. And then it sets its flowers, which kind of resemble daisies. And then its flowers create the fruit. And the fruit is simply a seed carrier, so that hundreds and hundreds of other little seeds can be planted. Where there is one, there is many. And this is the potential for abundance. This is a new cycle in a physical rooted form. It may feel like it's not come up yet, but it is. That potential is right there in this moment, right now. And it's in that next step. That next step roots this. That one plant sends that next step, that next offshoot, and that roots. That's what you're doing. You are the Ace of Pentacles. Celebrate that. Celebrate that you are this potential. You got this. Trust yourself. I hope that these messages helped you. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you next time.